Hey guys, welcome back to the Snap Ring Chronicles. Today we have another Ratchet teardown and comparison. But as always, if you finding these videos helpful or informative, could you give me a like and share and subscribe? That would help me out. Thanks a lot. Okay, today we have an old Craftsman. A lot of guys probably see this and they're like, oh well, this looks like a quick release without the quick release, like a later East Coast. But no, this was older. This was from the late 50s. This was what's known as the Long Lever Craftsman. This came after this. This is the Boxhead Craftsman that first appeared like in the late 40s and went up to the mid 50s. And after the Long Lever then came the Flying V. This came from the late 50s to the mid 60s. It has the distinctive Flying V switch here. Okay, so in between these two runs, late 40s through the later part of the 50s and the late 50s to the middle of the 60s, for a couple of years we had this Long Lever, and I guess they had problems with this Long Lever ratchet. I guess they wanted to go from the box head to a new design, but so they got this design, which pretty much they've kept this design from the late 50s all the way up until the early 90s, when they stopped making the old quick release. This ran all the way up into the early to mid 90s. Same basic shape, handles, and before, around the time this came out in the mid to late 60s, there was another model that it didn't have a quick release. It kind of looked like this one, and you know, looking from kind of far away, you would think, oh yeah, these are like the same. No, they had in the late 60s they had a non-quick release model that, you know, you can mistake that one for this one, but no, this one came out like 10 years earlier than those non-quick release copies of this one. And the way you can tell them apart really is this lever here. They call this the Long Lever, and so you can see there how long it is. You see how it sticks up over the body like that so much? There's so much space there between the lever and the body. And the quick release, you see that lever is flat. It's thicker and flat against the body. And the material they use for these levers and the material they use for this Flying V lever was a lot harder than this lever. I think the problem with this ratchet, the Long Lever, was this lever was kind of weak. it just stuck out too much over the body, and it was made of soft metal, and probably a lot of these were breaking. I don't know if you would drop this like on a hard surface, these will probably snap off. I have an example. Here's a 3/8 example of the long lever. And this one kind of, you can see what I'm talking about. You see how the lever kind of is folded over there? It's supposed to be sticking out straight, and it's folded. I guess this one got knocked around and the lever suffered there. And probably this was happening a lot, so that's why I guess they went with the flying V lever. I guess they were getting a lot of returns for this lever having problems and snapping off. Okay, so let's take a look inside. Let's see. Yeah, sometimes these are a struggle to get out. Oh, brother. All right. There we go. Okay, it has this snap ring that keeps the mechanism in, and it goes around this donut ring that goes on top of the gear. This ring goes into that edge there, and closes. It locks that opening. Here's your gear. Everything looks chromed. These gears were chromed. I think later on they didn't chrome the gears. But this was a little surprising when I opened it up. I saw it. Everything's chromed. All the gear. It's 40 teeth on this gear. See how bright everything is? That's the ball detent. See how strong that is. Oh boy. It's tight. It's tight. That's what it looks like inside the mechanism. It has an oil port on top. There. You can see the oil port on the inside. Someone's initials there, KD. And you have another ring here that holds the switch. Oh, that was easier. Here's the smaller ring. And here's the switch. See how that just sticks out there? It's like a kind of thin. The metal's not that strong. What I do is switch this upside down, so it releases the ball at the bottom there, and you're able to slip this out. Here's the ball. There's a spring down here. And here's your spring. Here's your paw. It's 2 teeth. That's the underside. There's like a channel here on both sides for the ball bearing. Okay, here's the fun part, is trying to get this all back together. Okay, you take your spring and you drop it in the hole. Like that. You take your ball bearing, you put it on top of the spring. Okay. Let me see. You take like a small screwdriver. You take the ball. And you press it down. You take your paw with the switch facing up, and you drop it in. This is the way I do it. I drop it in upside down, and then I twist it. And I put the switch back on to help twist it, and I twist it around. Okay. That way I was able to get the ball underneath the paw. Cause this paw is a little bit different. It has that channel that kind of hides the ball. If you see other ones, they're kind of what's called bat wings. They have like little cutouts down here. They have cutouts, like little half circle cutouts here underneath the paw, and they have the tip of the paw here. Looks like a bat wing, but this I guess is an older design, and they just have those channels underneath the round paw. Okay, You take your switch, you get your ring around the switch, and you get the half moon on top of the switch protrusion there. Like that. Put the ring in the groove of the switch. See. Yeah, these are kind of a little bit difficult. All right. You take your two edges of the retaining ring and you mash them together. But make sure the ring is in that groove for the switch. And this one doesn't want to get into the groove. Okay. Oh, there we go. All right. Now you drop your gear into the mechanism. That's what the mechanism looks like when it's ratcheting. You see the pawl just sticking up there. You can barely see the pawl in there. Okay, you do the same here with this ring. You get it in the groove. Oop. You get that in the groove of the bigger ring. You mash it like that, and you stick it in. And you pull it out to see if it's secure. Yep, secure. And you switch it, see if it's ratcheting. Yep, it's ratcheting. Well, that's the review and the teardown of the Craftsman Long Lever from the late 50s. And these, by the way, I think they only came out for like 2 years officially, but I think they were still selling them into the early 60s. I guess they had whatever backstock they had they were trying to get rid of. So these were probably selling into the early 60s. All right, guys. Until next time, take care.